Okay, a couple people have asked me how to install these Tri-Z foot peg mounts. I'm going to show you guys how to do that here. Hopefully the angle of this seat is perfect for this. First thing you're going to want to do is start out with a brand new Sawzall blade. Brand new. Let the saw do the work. Don't force it. You want to run the blade. You want to split the weld. You want to be on the edge of this cap. You can see it. It's a welded on cap over the top of the pipe. You want to split that weld the best you can. Just take your time. Now I wanted to show you all the garbage that falls out of here when you do this. Here's the OEM. That's all the foot peg is held on with. That little tiny tack welded to the inside of this. That's what it's going to look like, the cap, when you take it off. Now when you get this cut off here, you're going to have a pipe here. These guys drilled a hole through these to run a bolt all the way through this. These holes are not going to be there when you cut this off. These holes will not be in that tube when you cut that off. You're going to want to go ahead and either plasma cut that hole in or drill that hole in, because when you weld this on here, like so, when you run that bolt in, it's going to bottom out on that steel. So you're going to want that bolt to be able to pass through that hole. Otherwise, you're going to run that bolt in, you're going to strip these threads out quicker than shit. Now, when you get this cut off like that, you can grind this high side. If this is tipped in or tipped out, you can grind this back to make that straight. So take your time with your grinder. You could also tack weld it on the high side and then fill your gap in later to make your angle right. I like to tip them up just a little bit so they're angled up. That way your foot pegs are angled up just a tad bit. On the other side, I'm going to show you this frame has already had the peg mounts welded on. When you bolt up your foot peg like so, this is a stock, OEM stock, you're going to want to trim your foot peg with an angle like that. Because when you put this on here, what you have done is you moved your foot pegs in. And that creates you're going to want the room for your foot peg to come up. See how high up it is? It would be level with your foot peg. Otherwise, your foot peg ain't going to be able to go down. And that'll be as high as it'll go. So your angle will be wrong. So you will have to trim your brake pedal there. Also, on 2 of these frames that I have modified, the C-clip, sometimes you have to relieve. See where that black marker is on there? I've had to trim that out just a little bit because the C-clip is really close to that. But being, I've got too many things in my hands here. Being a C-clip, you could also just relieve that a little bit and the C-clip will go in this way, protecting it. You can relieve that out if you wanted to do a 360 on there, but I haven't had any trouble. I just take a die grinder, relieve a little bit right there, and then the C-clip will go in there. And it also gives you enough room to slide a black O-ring on there to take some of that slop up to keep the rattle out of it. I wish I had another hand here, but that's pretty much what it's going to look like. These pegs are obviously whipped. I pulled them out of the shed. I probably should throw them in my scrap pile, but basically it's going to be kind of that close, right around there, somewhere in there, and that's all there is to it. Here's the other side welded on. You're going to want to have your welder not put a lot of weld right here. There's actually a bracket that was under there that you could almost probably grind off, depending on, I wouldn't grind too much because it's most of the support to keep that up and down. So you want to pay attention to right there and not put a big lump, because that's going to determine how much you're going to take off your brake pedal. But that's pretty much it. So you're going to want to drill that hole in that down tube, and then that'll allow for your plate, for your bolt to go through that hole. You're going to want to, once you get your level where your plate wants to go, you're going to make sure that that hole lines up with that bolt hole, so your bolt goes through and not like half on it, half off it, because you will mess your bolt up. And that's about it.